We should have seized all Saudi Arabian assets in this country, declared war on Saudi Arabia, rounded up every one of their citizens living in our country and executed them on public television, and then fired multiple nuclear warheads at that country.
It's time to play the game! Alright, we're back with another video. Couple of days since my last upload, so I'm going to do a couple today because the missus has gone out shopping, so I'm all alone. So what better thing to do than to make a couple of videos on the glory hole hog. Anyway, so this video we're going to review is Jason Blaha's video review of Alan Thrall says if your gym doesn't allow chalk, find a new gym. And in this video, you can't make it up, Jason Blaha tells someone and other, tells people to get a job. So this is the video that that Blaha is talking about, and this is an older video because obviously it was a few days ago and Blaha was stuck for ideas, so he started trawling through other people's video archives to come up with this one. And this is by Alan Thrall. If your gym doesn't allow chalk, find a new gym. So this is where Jason Blaha watches this video and then repeats everything that he's seen in this video and then adds, you need to get a job. That's it. I'll end it there. Thanks for watching. But no, this, you can't make it up. Anyway, so let's get cracking. Let's have a little look at the video that Blaha was reviewing.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. In this video, I'm talking about chalk. Magnesium carbonate. When applied, it dries out your hands by absorbing the sweat, which improves your grip. It's used by weightlifters, rock climbers, gymnasts, and chess players. And it can actually act to protect your hands as well. If you can imagine a pair of soft, sweaty, clammy hands holding onto a heavy, aggressively knurled barbell versus a pair of dry, chalked hands, the dry, chalked hand is less likely to rip or tear when holding onto the heavy barbell. But enough of that. The reason I'm making this video is because the good folks at Spider Chalk Company sent Untamed Strength some chalk products. So let's check it out. Let's chalk it out.
Alright, and that's pretty much the video, and he goes into testing one chalk against another chalk, so it's like the Pepsi challenge. Anyway, so what Alan Thrall just said, he said that in less than 40 seconds, about 45 seconds he said that. Yeah, what Alan just said, Jason Blaha drags out over 10 minutes. So he takes almost word for word what Alan said and drags it out over 10 minutes. Why does he do that? Because he needs the YouTube shekels. Gotta have the YouTube shekels. Gotta make the money, haven't we, blah? Yeah, gotta make the money. Yeah, that's why. So, shall we see what this little fella says about... Well, we know because he just repeats what Alan Thrall just said. But anyway, let's let him do his little opening dialogue and get us all excited to watch a 42-year-old man sitting in the same t-shirt, in his underwear, in a closet, in front of a room with the same liquid grip that he's been using for 5 years. He says, "Oh, I use this in my powerlifting meet." We know when that was. 5 years ago, in another country. Go on, Blaha, do it. Go on, son.
You'll get gym noobs and people like I said, well, can't you just train with gloves? No, gloves will actually hurt you. Gloves will injure you.
Oh, we missed his start, didn't we? There we go. Come on, Blaha, you can do it.
You guys know what time it is. I'm talking about current events in the online fitness community. And for those of you who like these type of videos, please remember to click like down below, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell, ring my bell, baby. But, on to the point.
Is there
this
ever a
isn't even
point?
credible. This is like a 3-month-old video that I just stumbled across. I saw it in my feed. I'm like, well, what's Alan talking about? I actually agree with his title, and it's something worth talking about. And I watched the video, and really it was more of a review of chalk. But to be fair, to be perfectly fair, I might actually consider, I've actually watched this whole video, his review. I might try that chalk out, at least the liquid version, because I train at home. I obviously have a home gym, and so I have a lot of the concerns some of the commercial gyms have that ban chalk. And that's the reason I use liquid grip personally. It works fine for me. I've never had an issue with it. I've even taken it to comps. Right, you guys have seen me.
Taking it to comps 5 years ago. He's taken that same bottle for 5 years. He's had that same bottle. Oh my god. Yeah, he's taking it to comps, kids. He's taking it to comps 5 years ago in another country. Yeah, he's taking it to comps. I'm surprised they let him take that through customs. He probably snuck it in his bag that they had in the holdall because it's above 100 millilitres. Anyway, but yeah, he's taking it to comps 5 years ago. And he uses fake weights. What's he need chalk for? Oh yeah, I forgot. He's got delicate, dainty little hands. Very delicate, dainty little hands to match his delicate, dainty little knees. So he has to use liquid chalk.
They pull 1-rep max and comp using this stuff. Just regular old liquid grip. I get it off Amazon. But I might try the one that he's using. But here's the thing that we need to talk about. I see this all the time, and I will see people who will say things like, well, my gym bans chalk. It's like, well, if your gym bans chalk, it's not actually a gym. There's a reason I say that. The general assumption is that anyone, I would assume, who opens a gym, runs a gym, is a manager at a gym, actually cares about fitness and training, at least to some extent. There are exceptions to the rule, but at least to some extent.
So at this point, Jason Blaha just reveals the fact that he doesn't go out much because he's not aware of things called commercial gyms, where people just want to go and use a treadmill, use a stepper, a static bicycle, a stationary bike, just do a little bit of cardio, these sorts of things. He's so stupid that he thinks everyone is a powerlifter or a pretend powerlifter, a fake powerlifter. But he thinks everyone is a powerlifter and every gym should be a powerlifting gym. And if they don't use chalk, then it's not a real gym. Blaha, it is a real gym. Commercial gyms, even things like Fitness Planet, are gyms. Not everyone wants to be doing 5x5 programs, pretending they can deadlift weights like you. That's why you do it in your bedroom. But yeah, not everyone wants to do that, Blaha. Some people just want to get some cardio in, something that's completely alien to you. Oh no! I do cardio. I step up on a bench and I jump on little boxes. Yeah. I'm a cardio gamer. That's his idea of cardio. But what he doesn't understand, actually, Blaha, go and watch Mark Stubin. Go and watch Mark Stubin. He can get you into shape. He can get you to lose that fat you've got on you. Yeah, because he's lost a lot of fat. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, and you're talking about a recomp. I do a recomp. I'm recomping. I'm cutting, still cutting. Yeah, recomping, still recomping. Anyway, go and watch Mark Stubin's videos. You could pick up some tips. He can get you healthy. Because what you're doing isn't working. You've been the same shape since you started and beyond. So, mate, go and watch Mark Stubin, pick up some tips, learn a thing. Because what you're doing is nonsense. You don't know what you're doing. You're locked away in your little room. You're completely isolated from normal people. And it's not effective. What you're doing is not effective. We can see that. Anyway, back to his review on liquid grip and Alan Thrall's video being plagiarized.
Fuck this gay for pay faggot. Fuck him. When you're putting a gym together, if you know anything at all about gyms, You know people are going to use chalk.
He thinks a little rack, a few bars, and some fake plates is a gym. If you know anything about gyms, like he does, blah, king of the gym, gimp of the gym.
Because chalk is a mandatory safety device. Okay, you make that clear. Chalk is not optional.
Right, listen, Blaha, you're talking to someone who has trained in some form of fitness and sports since I was 7 years old. Martial arts since I was 7 years old. I've always supplemented my martial art training with weight training to give me strength for the martial arts. Guess what? I've never, ever in my life used chalk. Now, what are you going to say to that? I don't know what I'm doing? You're going to say I'm an idiot? I don't know what I'm doing? You know better than me? My friend, you don't know anything that I know. If you do, you wouldn't be such a coward. You would agree to see me in the ring or on the mat to test your so-called 2 black belts in martial arts. You don't know anything, and I have never used chalk in my weight training, ever. Never used chalk. And if you want to say to me, because I've never used chalk, I don't know what I'm doing, then I will gladly meet you on the mat and answer that question as well. I'll show you who knows what they're doing and who doesn't know what they're doing. Meet me on the back, Blaha. I want to see what you can do with these 2 black belts of yours. Meet me in the ring. We got it in Texas. April. Let's do it. God hates cowards.
There is no way a person can actually train in any sort of remotely serious manner without chalk. It is almost impossible.
And fuck this
It is
faggot.
almost impossible. You would need a lot of specialized implements and things to pull this off, and it's not going to be ideal. Like, not having chalk is devastating to you for training purposes. To the point to where it's an injury issue. It is actually a safety issue. So what you have is that people who don't...
Well, I haven't been devastated, and I haven't been injured, unlike you, through weight training. Never use chalk. Chalk isn't needed for what I do. If you want to clap your hands, make a nice cloud of smoke and pretend you're a power lifter when everyone around you can clearly see you are not, then play with your chalk and your bands and your chains and your straps and all your other G for P bits and bobs. Because that's not my cup of tea, mate. I know how to train. I know how to train for me. And I will gladly put my training against your training.
Don't know how to either clean a gym. They're too lazy to hire a staff member who will sweep the floor once a day or several times.
This thing talking about being lazy. It just gets better. This thing, lazy. The two are hand in hand, aren't they? Intrinsically linked. Blaha and lazy. Those words should be next to each other.
Fuck this faggot.
In the dictionary.
Times a day. You know, and so it's kind of like, why do you have staff at all? You can afford staff members to sweep a gym. You manage, you can get out there and sweep chalk up. Chalk is not that big of a deal. And so they're making a big deal out of it because maybe they either don't want to hire employees or they don't want to have an actual proper floor. Like, rubber matting. You can sweep chalk up out there pretty easily. And so what? It's going to get dirty. It's going to get some chalk.
Like I say, it just shows his naivety and his lack of experience in gyms. Not every gym, especially commercial ones, where mums are there when their kids are at school, want bodybuilders making clouds of chalk, grunting, sweating, and going nuts in the corner. Yeah? There's enough idiots in gyms. They don't want to add that to it as well. people getting injured and that because they're trying to bench more than they can or deadlift more than they can, ego lifting, which is what this clown does. But he uses fake weights, obviously. So he strokes his ego and pretends he's lifting these magnificent weights, but it's probably half of what he's actually got on the bar. Half of it's fake. Anyway, I'm just rambling now like this fool.
On the floor in the weight area. That's part of a gym. So they're essentially taking their clean floor as a higher priority than the actual safety of their members, because it is dangerous to train without chalk.
Which is something he doesn't bother doing. He puts his useless training over cleanliness. We can see that. That place hasn't been cleaned for years. His muscle dungeon. Yeah, G for B, boys. Come on, G for B time.
And you'll get gym noobs and people like us say, well, can't you just train with gloves? No, gloves will actually hurt you. Gloves will injure you. Okay, gloves are not safe to train in.
Here's a truth. I've used gloves and I've never got injured. I don't use gloves now, but I've never got injured using gloves. So the way he states as if they're fact, he makes these statements like he knows more than anyone on YouTube. Gloves will injure you. Using chalk won't injure you. Stop you getting it. Just all these statements he makes, as if he is the last. He's the authority on everything. That is weight training, bodybuilding, everything, drug use, everything. He is the absolute authority on everything, making these statements. Well, I've never used chalk and I've never got injured. I've used gloves and never got injured. So just those two statements alone, my statements, show your statements to be absolute nonsense. That's it. I prove, just by making my statements, that your statements are absolute rubbish. Again, if you want to test my skills, you know where to find me. I'll be in Texas in April next year. And I would like to test your skills, Blaha. Get in the ring.
Not only if you even get remotely, decently, slightly stronger, you're going to shred through them with every single workout. You're going to be buying a new pair of gloves every workout. That's going to get expensive real fast.
I never bought a new pair of gloves for every workout I did. I didn't destroy my gloves. I didn't shred my gloves. I'm always wearing gloves on my motorbike, everything. I wear gloves. I don't buy them every time I work out. Again, more absolute nonsense, blanket statements from brain dead Blaha. Absolute nonsense coming out of his mouth. There's a surprise.
They're actually dangerous. They'll hurt your hands. They don't help toughen your hands. If they don't build your hands, you're risking ripping your hands.
Alright guys, anyone in the comments want to tell me whether they've used gloves and got instantly injured whilst using gloves because they use gloves? Anyone not use gloves and not use chalk and got horribly injured from not using chalk? Answers down below, please. Let's talk about this. This guy talks out of his arse. The more he talks, the more you realise he hasn't got a clue. This seclusion is really damaging what was already severely damaged.
Training in gloves. It's not ideal. It's going to hurt you. It's the worst idea ever. You shouldn't be training in gloves at all. There's no reason to. So the point we come over to as far as chalk for gripping a lot of things, the chalk is a safety situation. It helps the weight from slipping out of your hands.
See, so he just goes on to repeat what Alan Thrall said in 40 seconds, and we're 4 minutes in. Let's try and find this nonsense where he's telling people to get a job, which is even more ridiculous.
take supplements or something stupid. Well, supplements are stupid for the most part. They don't work.
Look, supplements don't work. Everything doesn't work unless Blaha says it works. Gloves don't work. Chalk works because he uses liquid chalk when he's watching Chuck Basher videos. But he's got to get a good grip of that tiny little thing. And liquid chalk is the only way he can get a good grip of that tiny little thing while he is reviewing Chuck Basher videos.
If you're spending $50 a month on supplements, which aren't going to give you gains, at the expense of being able to get to a better gym, which will, you see the problem there? Even if there's a slightly longer trip, if it costs you an extra $100 a month to train at a fully equipped, serious gym versus a gym that had minimal equipment, which one's a good investment? You better find a way to get that $100 to get to that better gym.
Yeah, just do some more. You need $100, just do a bit more G for P work, right? A little bit of cam work, yeah. Just reveal a little bit more for your G for P boys. That's how you get an extra $100, baby.
That would be my advice. That's going to be worth it to you. If you actually care about your progress, that's what you would do. Have access to a gym with better, more specialized strength training equipment. It's totally worth that extra $100 a month. And if you say, well, I can't come up with an extra $100 a month, it might be time to reassess your priorities in life.
This guy sitting in his underwear in a smelly old t-shirt that's not been washed for months in front of a flag that he brings shame to in a closet, telling people they need to reassess their life. You can't make it up, can you, boys and girls?
Might be time to reassess your priorities in life. I would actually say that your gains clearly aren't a priority. What are you doing in your life to where something else is such a priority that you can't come up with $100? Why are you that broke? Do you goof off too much? I mean, do you sit around smoking weed all day? Well, what's the problem that you can't find a way to come up with the money you need to train or eat correctly? Like, what are you...
So he's talking. I mean, this is how just stupid this guy is. So he's trying to say that someone who goofs off a lot, smokes weed all day, and he goes on to say play video games all day. That's a different kind of person, blah. This is how detached from reality is. That's a different kind of person. You're talking about like maybe a teenager, something like that. And if they're smoking dope, playing video games, and just being a waster, then they're not going to be really prioritizing working out, getting healthy, and being fit, are they, Blaha? These are two very different people. Because people that are serious about health and all that sort of stuff, working out, looking buff, the kind of guy you like, isn't really, he's going to be training, he's going to be doing cardio, he's all about image and fitness and aesthetics and looking good and, trying to get girls. They won't be drinking that much, maybe a weekends they'll be drinking, but they're not going to be stuck in a basement somewhere playing video games, eating nachos and smoking weed and drinking Coke Zero or whatever the hell you drink. Yeah, they're not going to be that person. Two different kinds of people, Blaha. But again, detachment from reality doesn't allow you to see that.
What are you doing with your life where you're stuck at such a gym? Or worst case, find a way to build a home gym. And the funny thing is what I'll occasionally get people who will say like, well, I'm a student who lives at home. Oh, okay, fine. Well, make sure that your major is worthwhile. Make sure that what you're studying in school is going to be worth that sacrifice that you're going to make.
Now, kids, this is where we get serious. You have to learn from someone who is very experienced. This is a guy with a career who studied hard in his youth to achieve and get where he wanted in life. Yeah. This man is going to give you advice on how to achieve success. This is a man, like I say, who's sat in a closet, bringing shame to a flag, in a smelly t-shirt that hasn't been washed, in his underwear. Listen to this guy. This guy's the next Tony Robbins.
That would be my advice there.
He might put it in an ebook, you know, how to be a millionaire. This thing. How to be rich and successful. I'm gonna put it in an ebook. Still waiting for that other ebook, Blaha, about, you know, being aesthetic and losing weight and recomping. Still waiting for the ebook. You remember the one where you're opposite Moon Cookie, stuffing fried chicken into your mouth? Remember that one with a green, stupid-looking green beard? Do you remember that video? Maybe I'll put it in there. I'll put a little link to it, or I'll squeeze it into the video in a second. Yeah, we're waiting for that ebook. So listen, kids, to a man who is successful and has fulfilled all his dreams. Listen and learn.
Because it may or may not be. You better make sure it's worth it. And if it isn't, hey, that's great. If you have something that you're going to school for, to be a medical doctor or something really important that's going to make you a lot of money,
or a YouTuber. It's my YouTuber career. I'm an influencer. I'm a YouTuber. This is my career. I make very, very good wages. I have middle class income. If you live in a third world country.
and a great life is going to make a change in the world, like becoming a medical doctor or an engineer or something important.
Or a YouTuber.
And you're having to make those sacrifices to do it. I get it. I understand. But I see a lot of people who are going for goof-off majors that are going to leave them in debt, and they're not working, and they live in a life situation where they can't train at home or something like that, and they don't have access to good equipment because they're doing some goof-off major. Well, that's making poor life decisions. You're making poor life decisions already. Probably not.
So he's giving life advice, life coach now. He's a life coach. He's a fake life coach, kids. Not only is he an online strength coach and God knows what else he claims to be, but he's also a life coach now. Yeah. So if you want success, like Jason Blaha, keep listening.
Wise. Like I said, I get it if it's something worthwhile. If you're making that sacrifice for something that's legitimately worthwhile, I understand, and I would come over and say, then don't complain about the gym situation. That's part of the sacrifice that you're making to get further down the road. But I'll tell you, most schools have a decent rec center. And if you have a good major and something's going to be worthwhile, you probably have access to a good rec center to where they have a sports team and an athletic team, and they probably all use chalk anyways.
He just lives in a fantasy, doesn't he? He lives in like some sort of... He thinks life outside his room, outside his closet, is like Beverly Hills 90210 or something, doesn't he? He really does. He thinks it's like that out there. Because he never goes out. He's all, oh, what's it like? Looking out the curtain. Ooh, what's it like out there? Ooh, the Muslims. Madness. I mean, it's just absolutely bizarre.
So some of these excuses are nonsense. You can find a way to build a home gym if this is the situation. If you say, I can't afford a home gym, well, go get a better job, work harder. Work harder so you can afford a home gym. Do a home gym. Get a second job, yeah, so you can afford the home gym. Or afford a living space where you have a corner to stick a home gym.
Yes, kids, you heard him. You heard him. He said, go and get a job, get a better job, or get a second job. Jason Blaha just told people in his audience, that's the real ones, not all the fake dead accounts that he buys every month, but he just told the few real ones that aren't trolls and aren't fake, right? He just told them to get a job, get a better paying job, or get a second job. The laziest man on YouTube just said, for those people out there watching, to get a job or a second job or a better paying job. Can you believe it? I only hope he's trolling, but I know that he isn't. He actually believes the nonsense that he spouts.
Get a second job then, till you can afford the home gym, or afford a living space where you have a corner to stick a home gym. You have options in life, and what I find in my
or you could fake disability and get free money from the government for a disability you haven't got. That's always an option. Some people do that, and get subsidised housing. Section 8, I think they call it. Yeah, that way you don't have to worry about bringing in an income. And if you pretend someone else owns what you use to make money on, and that you're nothing to do with it, you're just the face of it, the public face, but you don't make any money from it, that won't affect your disability benefits. Where have I heard that? I don't know. I'm sure it will come to me. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there and get cracking with the second video of the day. So, I'm going to be wearing the same t-shirt. That's because it's the same day. But before I go, let's just have a little look at what's happening with Social Blade. And we're on Jason Blahar's Social Blade here, and this was just very interesting to me. We can see everything crashing down here, going down. We can see that. We can see that the mean of his yearly earnings is still around about 10,000, 8, 9, something like that, 9,000, 10,000 dollars a year, which equates to around about less 900, 800, 900 a month. Yeah, and if we look at this is quite interesting. I mentioned it in the comments of one of my videos the other day to a few people that were, I was talking to. Friday the 13th, a bad day for Blahar because he went negative in his views. So what happened there, who knows? But he's pumping them up, probably buying the subs again. We don't know, do we? We don't know 100%, but the rumours out there are that he is. But we're going negative here, really negative here. I don't know what caused that, but something did. And then you look down, and Monday he lost, Sunday he lost 8, Monday he lost 11, but 500. And I know YouTube has algorithms and little sort of programs running that spot when people have, let's say, dead accounts for whatever reason. Some people buy these accounts using these programs. They buy subs, they buy views and all that stuff. I'm not saying Blahar's doing that, but some people do. And YouTube has a way of finding when that's been done, and obviously, just banging, blocking, blocking 500 or more, depending on how many fake accounts there are. So who knows what caused this, but it certainly is interesting. And then what's weird as well, obviously we're on Saturday, which is live here. There's nothing showing on the subscriber count for the following days, which is again very strange. A healthy channel, a healthy growing channel will at least get 1 or 2 a day, trickling through. Even a small channel like mine gets 1 or 2 a day. But yeah, the fact that there's no information here is very, very interesting. Maybe YouTube are investigating. Maybe they're doing an investigation, which is why nothing's showing right now. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. But I hope that was informative. And leave a comment. Leave a comment down below, because I like the comments. We love reading the comments. I like the conversations in the comments. And yeah, let's talk about it. Do you use chalk? Here's a chalk The only thing that makes a real gym a gym? Who knows? Answer down below, please. And, yeah. Until next time. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, tell a family. But most importantly, leave a comment. Until next time. You can tell I haven't done this for a while, haven't you? A couple of days. I'm a bit out of it. I'm a bit sort of all over the place. Anyway, until next time, I'm out of here.
If you enjoy eating meat, then just eat meat. And I would say, well, if you enjoy raping women, just go rape a woman. I mean, it fucking feels good, right?
Let me put the nail in this coffin real tight. God hates a coward. God hates a coward. 21:8 says, but the cowardly and the unbelievers, murderers, the sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake of fire, which is the second death. God wrote that, I didn't.
Hey, fuck this Haji. I'm going to shoot him in the gut at 300 yards and let him bleed out for a little while. And then when he's too weak to fight back, me and my friends are going to go pick him up and have a little fun with him and make him fucking talk before we feed him to the pigs.